Decepticons, a toast to the imminent destruction of the accursed Autobots. Energy! We won't need to conserve it after tomorrow. We can bleed this planet dry! Boy, these are good. I needed to refuel. Energy! This stuff's the greatest! Those were the good old days back on Cybertron. Didn't have to sneak around in these ugly-ass disguises.
If a show host asked me the question of, would you rather be made into a billionaire or would you rather get revenge on the Matrix control system? Y'all already know which one I'm picking. All day, every day. Fuck that billionaire shit. Cause a being like me with the spark, I always wanted freedom. I always wanted to be who I am. But we like these phones that ain't unlocked. You know? We programmed to a system. But if you got an unlocked phone, that unlocked phone, you can use it on any system. Basically, freedom. So hell nah. Fuck that shit. But yeah, anyway, this is just a conversation that I'm about to have with y'all. So check this out. Like, if a new baby being born after someone dies, that means the population on Earth is the same since this Matrix started. There is no less people or no more people in this world than when this motherfucking Matrix system got placed here. Same amount of people. The population is still the same. So when people have these conversations about, yeah, man, this city and that state got a death rate, blah, blah, blah. That's fear porn, ain't it? But, you know, a lot of us that listen, that know this shit, that hear me saying this shit, that listen to the news before, we know all that shit. But I'm just saying. That means the same amount of people still here when this Matrix started. So that means, like, motherfuckers who can't have kids and shit, and they get the inseminations, that means all they replacements come from all the abortions that happen, right? If the same amount of people here, the population is no larger or smaller. So when they had these talking points talking about the population getting too large and impossible, because soon as somebody dies, a baby's born, and soon as a baby born, somebody dies. And I know this is to be true. I know it's to be true. So, talking about population on Earth, stupid as hell. If it was 1 million people here when the Matrix started, and it's 1,000 years later, guess what? There's 1 million people here. And that's the end of that discussion. So, the Matrix has to calculate your position inside of the Matrix. It creates some Decepticons to be rich and some Decepticons to be poor. It creates some of them to be middle class. And then you have us, Team Autobot. We get brought here and tossed in the mix without asking for it. But when we get tossed in the mix, we get put somewhere where we don't belong. Meaning our position doesn't fit inside of the system. And it's designed that way on purpose for optimum loose extraction. You heard? When you growing up, you know, you go through the whole, some of y'all went through being made fun of, being picked on. Some of y'all went through being left out, being excluded. Some of y'all went through the stuff that you did that was talented, didn't get looked at. Some of y'all went through the opposite. Some of y'all barely felt like y'all had a talent, and it was actually getting acknowledged way the fuck too much. You was like, all I did was the same thing somebody else did. And they blowing your shit up like it's the best stuff on earth. Because there was something attached to that. That's trying to place you off into a world that you would have not fit in just to annoy your ass on the back end. Everything designed to do that here. That's why when a baby's born, somebody dies. So somebody get rich here, somebody got to go broke. That's how when you walk somewhere, people can sync up with you. Because that's how the motherfucking Matrix does its math here. So these alien races and shit that's probably ignorant like how we was, that don't know nothing about the reptilians and shit, the Nordics, the Greys, or this Matrix system, they come to Earth and shit, and then get shot out the sky, and then took over the motherfucking Area 51 because they not a part of the Matrix system. Yeah, I know. I truly believe that a lot of these alien motherfuckers, they get quarantined when they come here and killed off because they spiritual line and they bloodline is not amalgamated with the Matrix. So if they was to come here and just be all in society and shit, the Matrix wouldn't be able to calculate their position. Because you got to remember, everybody being gang stalked by the eye on the back of the motherfucking dollar bill. Motherfucking the Metatron. You heard? So if you're not one of the million people of the population, you 100 million and 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, it can't calculate your position. Sort of like that episode of Rick and Morty when Rick was inside of the simulation and they was talking about there's a real human inside of the simulation. How he get inside of there? That threw their ass off, didn't it? And that's the reason why they come at these other beings that come here. Not because they're alien or none of that shit. It's because the Matrix can't calculate them. Because this place is for slavery and energy extraction. And if you ain't getting that, if that's not happening to you, then you don't belong here. You can't just be free in this bitch. That throws the system off. And that's why the Matrix had to get control of the woman a long time ago when it understood the importance of the woman. The womb of the man. Because the Matrix was designed to control certain beings that's here, loaded into this motherfucking reality. And it started with her womb. So when you see like these little male and female agendas where they're trying to make the men go against the women, when you see these modern women being all greedy and selfish, and then you see these simps trying to cater to that behavior, but it's really just some toxic usury type shit. That's able to happen because the Matrix is programming that shit to happen in that way. It causes stress to the society and the people around it. Because, you know, this place already trying to get you for your energy. Just when you wake up in the morning and you breathing and you alive, you're getting hit right there. And you probably got to go to some whack-ass job. Boom. Now you're getting hit right there. Then, if you thinking to yourself, man, I probably need a bitch or something to lessen the problems, it's the Matrix gonna calculate your desire. It's gonna throw one of them modern women in your face to extract more of your energy, knowing damn well it can calculate not to put one of them type of women in your environment, but it's gonna put one of them. On purpose to get your loose. Then you start seeing all these conversations about modern women and simps all on your timeline if you got social media and shit. All that shit go hand in hand. It's so funny, man. It's hilarious. So they want you to, the Matrix wants you to be worried about fear porn. You know, a lot. What city's got the highest murder rate? And if you actually was to go to these cities, you wouldn't run into no damn issues. It's just a bunch of talk to create fear, to extract loose. Because 1 million people started off here, 1 million people still here. It's probably more than that. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to say 1 million. Have you ever counted all the people yourself? I know I haven't. And I know this motherfucking government ain't do it either. You got me fucked up, they did that. That's how they got all this organization over the people. Because they know that secret too. The population is still the same amount of people as it always been, it always will be, as long as it's up under this matrix. So that's how they able to monitor everybody, keep tabs on everybody. And shit like that. Population still the same. And even if an addition or an extra motherfucker get added, it alerts the system. It'll set like a ringer off. It'll be like extra person here, don't know what to do with it, don't know what to do with it. Men in black, check the scene, So when these ignorant ETs come here and shit and don't know nothing about who running this shit and how it works, they some motherfuckers who actually came here on purpose to explore and see what this place is. And if you like looking at the earth and shit, it don't look hostile to it. I mean, you see the animals doing what they do, but don't really look too hostile. Cause you know the motherfucking reptilians and shit, they hot. So they come here, get their motherfucking shit shot out the sky. So they motherfucking technology can get took and studied. And then they get sent to Area 51 to see if their blood is compatible with the humans that's currently here. To see if there's any type of genetic modifying they can do to take from that new ET specimen to add to us or use to take away from us. So we can be more or less efficient depending on what they going for. Or its spiritual line. Because you know that's the two things that matter in this matrix. Is your spiritual line and your bloodline. That determines a whole lot of where your position gonna be. That's why I like, if you have a conversation about rich people and poor people, real people, if they answer the question, it's gonna say, there really ain't no difference. Because it really ain't. And on a surface level, you can't really understand why these people is rich and why these people poor. But then, the Matrix will give you a narrative. It'll say, well, these people got a different type of work ethic. Nah, that ain't true. The poor people got the same work ethic as the rich people. It'll try to send you another one. Well, these people was born like that, with a silver spoon. How you get born with a silver spoon? That's when the conversation goes blank and a bunch of questions go up. Because then it has to say that same thing all over again. Well, his family members worked hard and got themselves into that position. Nah, man. The Matrix calculated your bloodline and your spiritual line and decided what's your best position inside of the Matrix. Whether that's going to be rich or poor, what part of the world, and it placed you there. Period. You could be dumb, you could be smart, you could be retarded, you could be incompetent, you could be ugly, you could be attractive. If this is where the Matrix thinks you should be at, then it's going to place you there. Because the only thing it's worried about, the Matrix itself, is how it's going to keep this loose machine running. So in order for this loose machine to run properly, if you got to be poor, you're going to be poor. You got to be black, you're going to be black. You got to be white, you're going to be white. You're going to be ugly, you're going to be ugly. You're going to be rich, you're going to be rich. And it ain't pretty much shit you could do about your positioning. But you could try to alter that motherfucker. And that's why I was talking about the modality of the zodiac signs. When you get an understanding about the modalities, especially yours and everybody else's around you, even if they're a Decepticon or not, you'll see some of the codes being used in the code book of the Matrix. So Zodiac plays a role. Even the regular zodiac, just to, what somebody's zodiac is and shit. That helps. But like all that extra shit where they say that they sun is placed at, my sun and my moon is placed over here inside of Virgo and blah, blah, blah. I don't get off into all that shit. That's doing way too much. Because there's only so much you can do in this reality. You can make money. You can breathe. You can eat, sleep and shit. You can interact with people and do basic stuff that's allowed within the limits of the matrix. So that's like play some sports, play a game with each other, have a conversation, travel around on the plantation a little bit. You limited. So knowing all that extra stuff about the zodiac sign is useless unless you a free being. You unlocked. You're not under no slavery. You ain't been genetically modified and dumbed down from using all your abilities and senses, basically. Then, if you was to get off in zodiac stuff, all that other shit would matter, because then they got more access to the cosmos and things they can do, more dimensions they can access, and the way they can manipulate the environment with the magic and all that type shit. But while you here, the only part that really matters for motherfucker, what they sign is, what they modality is. You can even know what they element is. Then you can know what they life path number is. And you can know what they Chinese zodiac is, they Chinese year. But I advise you, if you go that route, don't go too fucking deep with it. Remember, it's only so much you can do in this matrix. I want to give an example that sounds clear to explain what I'm explaining. Like, let's say I was dealing with a Leo, right? I already know that their modality is fixed. Fixed means they can't adapt to shit. So since they can't adapt to anything, that means the matrix is going to give them an automatic position in the matrix. See how I know that? That's off their modality. And I know their modality because I know they zodiac, Leo. And that's what comes preloaded with the Leo sign, a fixed modality. So you ain't gonna never really find them every fucking where doing all kinds of shit, because their position is fixed. See? Now that you know that, you could go to their element. I'm not talking about the Leo, y'all. I'm just using one of the zodiacs as an example. Now y'all go to the element. Fire. If you know anything about the nature of fire, this will let you know how you can deal with the Leo. You can have conversations with the Leo. And anything that the Leo can't understand, comprehend, you'll know why the Leo can't do it. If the stuff you talking about sound too abstract to them and they be like, I just don't understand what you said, you know to leave it alone. Why do you know to leave it alone? Because they're fixed. They not designed to be able to understand all that other shit. It's a rapper out there named Killer Priest. That motherfucker, he could talk about all kinds of esoteric shit. But I think that's his fixed position in the matrix. I don't think he really comprehends anything he's talking about. Now that's when you go into a higher level of this understanding. But you would get that when you start to experience more and like actually live all this shit out in real time. I was just using that as a quick example to say fixed is not based on anything in particular. It just, wherever the Matrix put this Leo motherfucker at, it get fixed in that realm. Or fixed in that type of understanding or whatever. And you know not to keep pressing it and just leave it the fuck alone. Because the element is fire if they don't understand some shit. Because you know it's about to come next. Y'all either about to get into a heated argument, y'all gonna fight, they're gonna act passive aggressive or aggressive. You don't know what you're gonna get, but you know it's gonna be explosive and it's gonna have the nature of fire attached to it. Now, you discovered that it was Leo. Leo helped you discover that it was fixed. Understanding what fixed is, let you know that this individual is placed in this matrix like this, based off of fixed. Then you moved on to the element. The element lets you know you only can interact with this individual based off of these boundaries. And then you moving on to the Chinese zodiac. Now the Chinese zodiac is like where you start to see the other part of the code book. They got a different animal attached to that. So your year. So let's say you see let's say you wanted to be a motherfucker who wanted to team up and try to do business with a Leo, right? You know all that part that I just explained. And you look at your Chinese year and you look at their Chinese year. And if both of y'all's Chinese years looking good with the year that the Matrix is looking, because whatever year it is, it's either a good or a bad year compared to your year you was born. That's how the Chinese Matrix, the Chinese zodiac work. So you might have a good year or a bad year as far as prosperity or being able to stretch out or move in the matrix how you want to a little bit of an extent. So let's say you met the Leo, you ran through all that shit, and they in a good year and you in a good year, and both y'all years is compatible with the current year that it is, and you go to try to get into business with them in some kind of way, you know you'll have a 50-50 chance of making this work. As long as you don't talk about stuff that the motherfucking Leo can't comprehend. Now, me personally in real life, I run into that all the time with Leos. So that's why I use that as an example. I don't talk to them about nothing deep. Nothing outside of the matrix. Nothing abstract. Nothing esoteric. But back to your boy Killer Priest. That's what's crazy about him. He's very esoteric. But I don't think he even comprehends the stuff he's talking about. He just he just knows how to spit out a bunch of jargon. And that's why he's able to rap about it. It's just jargon. Words. Because he always asking questions on his podcast. He never really explaining anything to anybody. He always in learn mode. But he ain't learning the stuff that he's learning. He's learning more jargon. So he can spit it back out his mouth again. And I know that because he's a Leo. They like to gather information so they can appear smart. But if it look like they moving smart in the matrix, it's not them. It's because they fixed. the motherfucking matrix is got invisible strings connected to them and doing that for them. And then what's they life path number? How does that work out? Well, with that part, it lets you know they positioning as far as like the people they gonna be around and how they gonna interact with those kind of people. So I just explained a whole code book while the zodiac and shit and the numerology shit, astrology shit, whatever you want to call it. How that shit is like a code book in a matrix, yo.